Yep.
Did we get everyone? Everybody's excited.
We are not.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Roseburg Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, and this is our regular meeting. We're going to do a call to order and then roll call. Ready?
Ruth Smith.
Here.
Kyle Bailey. Bob Grubbs.
Here.
Ryan Finley.
Here.
Josh James.
Here.
Max Gimbel. Sam Denny.
All right. And then did everybody have a chance to go over March 4th minutes? Did we have a motion for approval?
I move to approve the minutes from March 4th meeting.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so our discussion items today, the first one on the agenda is Douglas County Baseball Association's proposed a softball player development and area, good God, development area construction. Sorry, guys.
Thank you all for being here today. Douglas County Baseball Association has requested that the city grant preliminary approval to construct a 100 by 50 foot indoor fitting facility and 2 outdoor practice areas that are at Legion Field, which is currently managed and operated by Douglas County Baseball. The issue for the commission is whether to recommend the city council give preliminary approval to Douglas County Baseball softball player development area construction proposal. It's long. Douglas County Baseball has been working with IE Engineering on a planning layout for Legion Field. The initial phase includes reconfiguring the outfield to add a new indoor practice building and 2 different outdoor practice areas, 1 on each side of the new building. The indoor facility and 2 new practice areas will be accessible and usable by and from the adjacent softball fields, benefiting both baseball and softball players. Many areas of Stewart Park were previously developed or improved using funding from the Land and Water Conservation Fund program, which was established back in 1965. The Land and Water Conservation Fund assisted areas are subject to perpetual federal protections, requiring that the land and any funded improvements be maintained for public outdoor recreation use. While changes to these funded park features are possible, they are subject to federal requirements and review. In September of 2025, staff contacted the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department for guidance on whether Douglas County Baseball's proposal to construct a new covered outdoor batting facility would be allowed. Staff was informed that the project can move forward once the project is more defined. ORPD will help navigate that process with the National Park Service to get the final approval for the project. The proposed project is being entirely funded by Douglas County Baseball. No financial or resource impacts are expected for the city. Douglas County Baseball would like to proceed with planning, working with staff to start fundraising for this softball player development area as soon as practical. They are seeking preliminary approval to allow these efforts to begin. The commission has 3 options. 1, recommend that city council grant preliminary approval to Douglas County Baseball softball player development area construction proposal. 2, request additional information, and 3, not recommend preliminary approval at this time. Staff recommends that the commission forward a recommendation to city council to approve the preliminary proposal as attached to this memo. This will allow Douglas County Baseball to begin fundraising efforts while continuing to refine the project and work through details with staff for final approval from the National Park System. So we have a lot of people here from Douglas County Baseball to talk to the commission about this proposal. So who that, which one of you?
I am.
Okay. Let's see.
Perfect. Good morning. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and talk to you guys today. My name is Guyan Randall, and I am a board member on the Douglas County Baseball Association. So if the player development facility that we're proposing to build in the back there, what is existing now, if you haven't seen it, is this really old steel structure that looks like it could almost fall over. It's got netting around it for current use of a hitting facility. The ground out there is concrete that's uneven, some portions of turf that are old and in really, really bad shape. And then outside of the concrete area where the hitting is very uneven grass, dirt, and primarily weeds when it gets a little bit later in the summer. So that's what we're kind of dealing with right now. And currently we've got 3 teams, full teams of softball teams that are using it. UCC, Roseburg, and UVC. So in that tiny little area, a lot of teams are trying to get into the same spot at the same time. The new facility that we're talking about building here would be a 50 by 100 structure. And so in that size of the structure, we think that we could probably get 2 teams in there full time hitting and using the facility. So when these teams are coming out of school at the same time, they can both be in there using that facility, not having to practice till 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. The other thing that this will allow us to do is in that inclement weather time, we'll be able to still have teams go in there and use the facility. So as you know, you're in Oregon, we get rain frequently, right? So having this covered area is just vitally important to these teams being able to still get out there and practice and improve. Those new graded areas on the outside, again, planning on getting those all cleaned up and for the most part flat, so that then they can do pitching ground balls. You could probably almost get a full infield, some use out there in the spot to the left as you're looking at the picture. So you can do double plays and bunt defense and all these little things that really help a team kind of go to that next level. The benefits are for those 3 users. You know, being able to get all of these teams in there to use that facility, not just during season, but during the off season, is going to, I think, we've seen make all of these teams better, right? You're going to get more kids wanting to come out and play on those better teams, and that all trickles down into the youth. So all of these Cal Ripken teams, all of these little, 5 to 12 to 14-year-olds are all going to see that, want to go to those softball games, want to come and be involved in that program, and it just gets that many more people involved in youth sports. That off-season component really helps instill discipline, hard work, putting in all that time during the off-season that right now they don't have the opportunity to do, that they will with this structure that we can kind of enclose and have it covered and still work during the off-season. I've coached baseball and youth sports for 10 years, and seeing that commitment that these kids can put in during those off seasons really helps them excel, just grow as a team, and I think really just become a better addition to our society and to our community. What else? So the other part that we're really looking at is that both UCC, and I'm not sure how much Roseburg and UVC does it, but we put on, and the Douglas County Baseball Association puts on camps, youth camps. So having this extra facility back there and all those grounds in the back, we can really touch those younger kids a lot more and bring in more have more camps and just have impact more people. I'm aware of one other indoor facility that we have now, and it is booked probably Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock till 9 o'clock, and then Saturday, Sunday, 9 a.m. to probably 5 or 6 every day of the week. Every day of the year. other than probably your holiday. So I know that this place would get used all the time, and I think it'd be a really good addition to both the ideas that we're trying to achieve here at Douglas County Baseball Association, but also as we have the next kind of group coming up to talk on how it's going to impact their school teams and their college teams and their lives in general. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Jordan MacArthur. She's with UCC.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan MacArthur. I'm a sophomore student athlete at Umpqua Community College. I'm here today to speak not just for myself, but for many young athletes in our community who are working hard every day to improve and who deserve better opportunities to do so. Right now, one of the biggest barriers we face isn't lack of effort or dedication, it's a lack of access. In our area, there are very limited options for consistent quality hitting practice, especially when weather conditions make outdoor training difficult. Practices get canceled, facilities get overcrowded, and athletes are left without the resources they need to develop. Currently, 3 programs, Roseburg High School, Umpqua Valley Christian School, and Umpqua Community College are all sharing the same hitting facility. That facility is old, below par, and simply not built to support the number of athletes who rely on it every day. This creates constant scheduling conflicts and limits the amount of quality training each program can get. That's why I'm asking for your support in improving the development of a new dedicated hitting facility for the youth, high school, and junior college programs. This facility would have a meaningful impact on our entire community. First, it creates a safe and structured environment where young athletes can spend their time productively. Instead of losing practice time or struggling to find space, they would have a reliable place to train, grow, and stay engaged in something positive. Second, it improves directly the athletic development and opportunity. Not every athlete has access to private lessons or the ability to travel for better facilities. This creates an uneven playing field. A local hitting facility would give all athletes, regardless of background, the chance to improve their skills, compete at higher levels, and even pursue college opportunities. I can personally say that access to consistent training plays a huge role in an athlete's ability to succeed. Another important factor is that as a member of the Northwest Athletic Conference, Umpqua Community College is required to provide opposing teams with an adequate hitting facility before games. Right now, meeting that expectation is challenging. A new facility would not only ensure that we meet conference standards, but also reflect positively on our community and the way we host visiting teams. Especially here in Oregon, weather is another major challenge. Rain and cold conditions make it difficult to train outdoors for a large part of the year. An indoor hitting facility would allow for year-round use, giving athletes the consistency that is critical for development. Instead of falling behind during the off-season, players could continue to improve and stay competitive. Beyond athletics, this project also benefits the local economy and community as a whole. A facility like this could host camps, clinics, and tournaments, bringing in athletes and families from surrounding areas. That means increased business for local restaurants, hotels, and shops. It's not just an investment in sports, but it's also an investment in the community's growth. I also want to acknowledge something more personal. Over the past year, Umpqua softball program has been through a great deal following a tragic accident. It's been a time of loss, adjustment, and resilience for everyone involved. Through it all, this team has continued to show up, work hard, and support one another. A new facility would mean more than just a place to practice. It would represent progress, support, and a renewed sense of pride for a program that has been through so much. Most importantly, this facility would serve as a long-term resource for generations of athletes. It would support players from youth programs all the way through high school and into college, strengthening the connection between our local programs and creating a sense of pride in the community. At the end of the day, it isn't just about building a facility. It's about creating opportunities. It's about giving young athletes a place to grow, to work hard, and to believe in what they can accomplish. I respectfully ask for your support in making this vision a reality. Thank you.
And then do we have someone from Roseburg?
I'm Kara Silverman. I'm a senior from Roseburg High School. And I've been through the transition of practicing over there to practicing on our new facility. And the amount of work we can get in now to before is outstanding. And you can see it, especially this year in our program, you can see how much better we've got just because we can practice when other teams can't practice in the rainy and cold conditions with our hitting facility now. Over there, we had to cancel a lot of games and move a lot of practices just because we were outdoor and couldn't like practice, perform, and do what we needed to do with it. So I feel like this is very huge and would help a lot of programs.
Did we see?
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so my name is Kaylee. I play for Uncle Valley Christian School. I'm super excited to be able to advocate for this new facility. I've been playing for 9 years, so I can picture myself like 10 years old. Having a place like this really would have been so beneficial to me, and I definitely want to see a lot of the younger girls, I don't know, VCC, whatever. I want to see them have those same opportunities that I was never able to have. Our whole program is fairly new, so most of the girls coming in have little to no experience. They've never touched a softball before. And the weather, especially in Oregon at the beginning of the season, isn't so great. So we're in the gym on the basketball court, taking ground balls, and we're in the weight room with our low ceilings, teaching people how to pitch. So we're pitching on weight room mats and breaking lights. So I know that having turf would be super great for our team. But yeah, so I think that having turf would just be so great, and I'm graduating, so I know that I wouldn't be able to see the end or the start to this probably, but I know that I love all the younger girls in our program, and I want them to have the same love for the sport that I do, and I think that the start to like creating interest in the sport is giving kids resources to do stuff like that, so hitting, pitching. But yeah, I think that it's a great idea, and I'm super excited to be able to advocate for it.
Anybody else?
I don't think so. Perfect. Some questions?
Okay. I was gonna say, do we, it's time for questions? Anybody want to start?
I think I do. So looking at the diagram that was handed out, looks like the baseball fence is pulled in also. Right? So assuming baseball's knows about this and is all accepting of it. And,
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about why you want to do that?
Well, so we can hit more home runs. A big part of that is to really give, you know, an ample amount of space back there to the softball player development area. You kind of kill two birds with one stone. Our fence is deteriorating, and it's in a really bad spot. So to be able to put up a new fence that's adequate for and also to give more space to the softball player development area, it works both for both groups. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
And the bonus is more home runs.
So like the brown warning track, all that will be part of the rebuild, right?
Yeah.
So the fence, it's looking at, is it 367 all the way around until, well, I guess until the corners?
Yeah, your foul poles will stay the same. It's really gonna come in from those gaps, the two corners, and in center field really is gonna just bring it in 10 feet and then make a more traditional kind of what you're seeing there. Yeah.
So that extra area, that's where you're gonna talk about putting more curve.
Correct. Yeah, so all that grass area back there and those extra spaces will all be for all of this. That's not the facility. Everything back there on both sides will be turf, and then plus all of this area.
And then just a new fence, like a new fence surrounding for the same kind of footprint on the outer sides of it. Like what
Correct. So the outside existing fence will stay.
Okay.
Down to here, and then we're just adding inside of that a brand new fence.
Okay.
Around.
So the footprint of existing today will not change, just everything happens inside the existing.
Correct.
So my question is, with the use that you guys are talking about right now for the college, so the high school has their own And then UBC would be participating and coming in. Is there capacity then to allow other youth organizations and other people to come in, or are you guys pretty much gonna be booked?
We try to every, literally involved in possible. Long as we can all day, always tell you,
Mhm.
there will be depending the time of year.
So you guys, do you feel like the capacity that you have with the teams that you have right now, is there space for that?
For more than.
Okay,
So we have a similar structure at the field currently,
Mhm.
and it shares 3 baseball teams and probably got 8 youth groups, and then plus the little league teams that will come in and use it periodically, so.
okay.
Will the areas outside the building be lit? Or
I haven't talked about that. But I don't see why not if we did all this yet,
So,
especially outside of the facility area.
so for sustainability and stuff, I highly recommend some solar.
Okay.
You have some roof space. Any more questions? Okay, does someone want to make a motion?
I move to forward a recommendation to city council to give preliminary approval to DCBA softball player development area construction proposal.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Against? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thanks, Travis.
Everybody,
I hope you ladies fill up.
Sure.
thank you. I hope it will.
That you guys have planned out.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you. If they'd explain that fences further out. Then typical fences.
So fewer home runs were hit because.
Well,
that's
the
what's required.
corridors were further out, and
Uh-huh.
so it kind of left a no man's land, but yes, so fewer home runs, but also a lot more space for those outfielders to cover, so.
Yeah.
There wasn't really discussion, but that area has looked old for decades, so.
Yeah.
Improving it sounds great to me. Yeah,
Been there
especially
yesterday
if
and
they're
it's
getting all the funding for it. That's
The
awesome.
aesthetics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you always see it on the path on the outside, but when I went in yesterday, I was like, "Ooh, it does need some sort of update."
Mhm.
So the boys, used sport before they had their indoor badminton. So when the girls got it and.
Yeah.
Seeing that face. So,
Isn't that
And
the
then-
big thing?
Or just, they said this will be for decades to come. The old one was for decades before already, yeah.
Did they say if they're planning on, like, so that the whole outfield fence is that old wooden, it's all
that's all
brown,
gonna be changed.
and on the sides too, coming in to match, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're looking at black
Like,
slatted.
like chain link
Yeah,
with the black slats.
not positive, they're still,
Yeah,
finalized it. And they're looking at
Yeah.
options, but
yeah, they should consider. Only downfall of that is it's difficult to do graffiti cleanup on those chain link fence with those slats. If it gets tagged, it's just a pain, but
So is it's not easy to pull those out and replace
Well,
them.
expensive.
Not cheap.
no, I mean, over by the duck pond between the VA property and the duck pond is a classic example. They just.
So are they able to spray paint that with some kind of graffiti or, paint thing to keep the paint from sticking like they do on the murals and stuff?
It'd be-
None of that.
It's,
right.
it's, yeah.
Okay,
Smooth surface would technically cover over. but
yeah. municipal code updates. Prohibited fireworks in all city parks.
Okay, staff proposes to amend the Roseburg Municipal Code 7.02.120 titled Prohibited Fireworks in Stewart Park to include all city parks and adjacent parking lots due to the fire and life safety risks associated with fireworks. The issue for commission is whether to recommend that city council prohibit the use of fireworks in all city parks and adjacent parking lots. Background, currently, the municipal code 7.02.120 only prohibits use of fireworks in Stewart Park. Roseburg parks include 20 developed parks comprising of 428 acres of passive and active recreation sites. Stewart Park alone spans 236 acres. Much of our park space is surrounded by steep hillsides covered in trees and other vegetative fuels. The climate in Douglas County has historically experienced a wet, rainy spring that could gradually warm during June and continue through September. However, over the past decade, Douglas County and the rest of Oregon have seen a steady increase in the warmer temperatures that now arrive earlier than in past years. This trend is lowering the moisture content in the fuels in the area, such as grass, shrubs, and trees. The risk and fear is that a small fire could quickly and rapidly overrun available resources and spread through our parks and hillsides, carried by dry fuels and wind. There are no financial resource issues. If the commission provides a recommendation to amend RMC 7.02.120 and RMC 1.04.005, it will be presented to the city council at their April 13th meeting. Commission has three options. Recommend that city council amend municipal code 7.02.120, prohibiting fireworks in all city parks. Request additional information, or recommend not amending the RMC 7.02.120. Staff recommends that the commission forward a recommendation to city council to amend Roseburg Municipal Code 7.02.120, prohibiting fireworks in all city parks and adjacent parking lots. Any questions? We have attachments here. Hope you look at. The first one is just the verbiage that would change and an ordinance.
Has the city historically had issues with fireworks in parks?
Yeah, we do. I believe the wording with this, with just being Stewart Park probably comes from back when the fireworks were done in Stewart Park. But what happens then is they see that it's prohibited in Stewart Park and it's not anywhere else. So it's kind of, they can do that to somebody. Yeah. So I'm surprised it wasn't in all city parks many years ago, but anyways, that's what we're trying to change because it is quite dangerous.
And we, last summer, we did experience issues with fireworks being set off at Sunshine Park in mid-July. Not a good time of year. So,
Not just during the 4th of July, too and after.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the code still allows for fireworks use in parks with an application. So make sure that the conditions are right.
That was going to be my question.
I read it because that was gonna be a question I had until I saw that.
We did the fireworks, we had to go through permits. I mean, it wasn't just sword cannon.
So sparklers, any fireworks, are we talking flying fireworks? Are we talking all fireworks? All.
Oh, all except for the paper cap. It specifically says in there.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Do we currently have an ordinance about fires, period? Like in city parks?
No fires in parks. Yes.
There is, okay.
So how do you guys interpret the word display? The word says display, use. What's your interpretation of display in that? word?
Where?
First, just kind of all over, really.
Fireworks activity includes display, use, or explosion of any fireworks.
Yeah, what, in your mind, what does the display be, like a legal standpoint?
Like you can get in trouble if you show somebody fireworks you have in the trunk of your car.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it needs, but I kind
Setting
of.
them off for display.
So
That means-
igniting them for people to see.
Yeah, that's how I would.
Should we change that to fireworks activity includes the ignition, use, or explosion of any fireworks?
I think that would be.
I
Yeah,
think
because showing somebody, hey, I've got these.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it meant.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it meant like, yeah, when we used to have a fireworks show, it was often labeled a fireworks display, like the big shows, but.
Although, well, yeah. It might be something like one of those things, like if law enforcement came and someone was about to light them off and they hadn't yet. They're like on the ground. I think that, is that maybe
I
what?
feel like that's a
getting at?
great opportunity for law enforcement to share that it's not allowed.
Yeah.
Right, I don't think
Yeah.
you should get in trouble with.
Yeah, no,
I just envisioning maybe it's a silly story in my head of like, you know, a couple of kids come back from the store, like, hey, look what I got. And they're like, hey,
Yeah.
you're displaying your fireworks.
Yeah, that's.
You know, like, what's this doing with money? I think it's when they do say,
Yeah,
I think that's what the intent is.
Do you have a recommendation on that, Nikki?
What are the term would be?
I don't think we're gonna help people to, or cite people for
Yeah.
showing their friends their fireworks, but,
person.
I mean, you usually could put it down to possession of fireworks in a park, because quite frankly, we don't want them there. If they're in your car, we don't care, but if they're. I'm just spitballing here, which we hate to do with ordinances, but, why would you be carrying fireworks through a public park? Okay. You know, if you're using it, the path as transportation, and they're in a bag and you're carrying them home, that's one thing, but.
Shortcut through the park.
But I
Which
will
the
say that
backpack
the
is.
folks that are enforcing this, that it's gonna be mostly complaint driven, and it's also gonna be very, very good at their jobs and making those determinations, so we probably don't have to. Get too far in the weeds on that, we can check with well, the chief's already seen this, right? And he was okay with it.
Yeah, I think we can assume the reasonable person interpretation here. I don't think a judge would. Consider a kid showing his friends against this.
Okay, so the only other question I have is, because the council has discussed fireworks quite a bit. Is if there's a complaint, will somebody be showing up to actually?
It will depend on what other complaints are happening at that time, it's gonna be in their prioritization.
Is there signage, or is there going to be signage at?
We're in the process of looking at updating some more signage.
We do have parks rules
Yeah.
in the parks, but we're looking at updating.
Mhm. Maybe a separate sign that says no fireworks in big letters. Okay, do we have a motion? There's no more questions. Do we have a motion?
I move forward a recommendation to council to amend Roseburg Municipal Code 7.02.120 prohibiting fireworks in all city parks.
I second.
And all in favor?
I
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let me get back up to. Here. Sorry, guys. Computer's slower than I am. On the right one.
Should be blessed.
Yeah, I gotta go to the agenda so I can read it.
Oh,
Sorry. So it happens when you're blind. Okay, that's not it either.
I don't think you clicked on
I
it.
think go to the right one. Yeah. There we go. Okay. All right. Municipal code update. Do that. I know it'd be easier for somebody to say it. Municipal code update prohibited use of generators on city. Oh. So that's gonna, okay. Go ahead.
So this one kind of follows up on the last memo regarding fire hazards in our parks. This one is not just parks, it's includes all city properties, real property, but we're specifically talking about parks today. The staff is proposing to add a section to Roseburg Municipal Code 702-200 titled prohibited use of generators on city real property. As our current code does not address the use of fuel powered generators on city real property, including parks. City of Roseburg owns and operates public parks for the support of the health, safety, and enjoyment of the community. Generators powered by combustible fuels such as gasoline, diesel, and propane produce noise, exhaust emissions, and are a potential fire hazard. Furthermore, generators can emit carbon monoxide and a colorless, odorless gas and are potentially lethal. The proposed changes to the municipal code are shown in your memo. I'll read through that. We'd be adding section 7.02.200, prohibited use of generators on real property. Under item A, it shall be unlawful for any person to operate, cause to operate, or permit the operation of a combustible engine generator on city real property. Section B, this prohibition also applies to all areas of real property owned by the city of Roseburg, including any areas within city parks. Any city personnel may order the immediate cessation of the generator operation in violation of this ordinance. Violation of the ordinance may include seizure of the generator for evidentiary purposes. Exceptions to this proposed ordinance: generators operated by city personnel are authorized contractors for maintenance, construction, and official business. Emergency response operations conducted by law enforcement, fire, emergency medical services, and other governmental agencies. And generators used pursuant to a valid permit issued by the city for a specific event or activity where the city has determined that such use is necessary and appropriate. And where adequate safety and noise mitigation measures are in place. There are no timing issues for this consideration. However, adding this ordinance will help the city address safety issues for staff and the public and preserve the park spaces for enjoyment of the community. Staff is recommending that the commission forward a recommendation to the city council to adopt the proposed ordinance prohibiting use of fuel powered generators on city real property. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Just out of curiosity, at the Deer Creek homeless camp, do they have a lot of generator use down there?
But there's generator use down there. We're seeing it along all of our park area along the riverbank. And obviously, as we come into summer months with the dry spring, we have a lot of concern with fire.
Is it primarily like the unhoused that you're seeing the generator use in the parks?
Primarily in RV.
For the pursuant to valid permit issued by the city, like for half shell, does each food truck have to get their own permit, or is that all part of the half shell? And would they have to like change how they process their permit or anything?
That would be a permitted process if permitted. If it's a food truck, but most of those plug in.
Yeah.
To
I was just thinking of what type of scenarios somebody would be already getting a permit
And that's why.
and might not know that they need to change it if that needed. Cool.
I think this will be, I think probably the worst area has been at the duck pond. Like there's been RVs that come in there and will run really loud generators for like the whole day. And it, I mean, you go there to like just relax and watch the birds and wildlife and, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's not just quiet. Just so everyone knows, it's not quiet generators. It's like the cheap, like extremely loud ones. And yeah, it's not just for an hour or two. It'll be like all day long. So
And then just for clarification, especially for the unhoused, because during seizures and everything else, they lose quite a bit of their belongings. Under D, the section D for the violation may cause seizure of the generator. Is there something separate outside of this that goes through how they get that back if they get it seized?
It would be the same procedure for any evidence that was. As any other citation or evidence, so it's separate from. Say camp cleanup type of thing, because. The police will hold evidence until trial or until it's adjudicated, so it'll be a different process than that. And remember, the requirements are that we allow them to stay warm and dry. It is not that it's not to live in a place, it's to sleep, stay warm and dry, so our requirements are they're supposed to move every morning. They're not doing that. We're starting to see electric appliances and things that are not part of staying warm and dry. Why my arms are doing that? I'm plugging things in. So it's. And there's beds available. Definition, so.
and there's other like. On the heat side of it, obviously, there's. Propane heaters and things like that, but a little tiny safe ones, so it's not necessary to have a big generator, and then there's also. Electric power banks, but if someone's just needing electricity, that's also like possible, so it's not necessary to have a large noisy generator.
Just portable solar.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Any other questions?
any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I move to forward a recommendation to city council to adopt the attached ordinance 7.02.200. Prohibited use of generator on city real property to the Roseburg municipal code.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, yeah.
Any audience participation? I don't think we have anybody here now. Informational?
Saturday's egg drop.
No.
At Fir Grove Park at 9 a.m. So
Okay.
I think that's been out on social media. For those that have been around Brown Park recently, you've seen a lot of play structure go up, a lot of colors starting to happen. Good progress out there.
There's some great pictures yesterday on the Facebook page that were pretty exciting.
Mhm.
It'll starting to take shape and you're able to start to see what's gonna look like when get done.
We have an approximate.
We're targeting the end of May for completion.
Okay, business from the commission.
They started out on Sunshine.
The contractor is mowing in this week. And so I don't know if they'll get started digging this week or just get prepped and begin the work on next week.
We have a timeline, a schedule on.
Contractually, they have to be completed by June 30th.
So I've got a question for Ryan.
Yeah.
On all the work that you guys got done on Stewart Park on the, around the duck pond and everything. Have you seen a difference with people coming in and utilizing the trails and are you experiencing more wildlife or any of those kinds?
It's hard to, yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, yeah. I've seen more people, but yeah, it's hard to track that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what's the update on nutrients? I mean, you guys did a lot of work on the trails and all of that good stuff with the nutrients. Are they still destroying stuff?
Not as much. A lot of damage is happening around the berm and the duck pond area.
Yeah.
Seeing less issues there. I haven't seen one in there in 6 months or a year or something. It's been a remarkable shift. So whoever's doing good work, like it's.
So how are we trapping and removing, relocating, or are we?
Sure.
That's, sure. I know you don't want to go there.
Well, I think they did a real concentrated effort when they were in there a couple of years ago, where they were back-to-back nights instead of, before it was, our previous vendor would come in once a month. That's what I remember, so I ran it was.
Once a month, just the maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a concentrated effort at one point to.
Well, I know down at Maselli Park, we're getting a lot of nutria down in that area.
Are prolific
Reproducers, yes. They're horrible.
If they get. Well, actually, I will say, so I have my family just walk through the, camas is about to bloom, and it's like, in my opinion, it'll be like the best year ever for the camas, all the way through the natural area. We'll make a post coming out, but it's like the entire field is filled with flowers. So it's just gonna be a solid white flower all the way through. So it'll look remarkable. I don't know, sometime in the next month, they'll bloom, so.
We need someplace to have a beehive. I'm sorry, I'm gonna promote beehives. We need some.
There was a wild beehive in there, and unfortunately, we whacked it.
Oh,
Yeah. Ended up in a tree for a long time, but
okay. And then, one of the other things that, so with the nutria taking over, they've taken over a feral cat feeding station in Maselli Park area. And so they're getting fed really well. So I don't know, just want to let you know, we may end up with a lot of issues along the Maselli Park area.
if they come, they probably should be given a heads up about the cats. That's tricky.
Mhm.
Maybe in the cat's best interest to stop the feral cat feeding,
Yeah,
because I don't think that cats get along with nature very well.
they seem to be doing that just fine.
Okay.
But the cat population isn't increasing in. But they do have that catch and release, fix and release kind of thing going on in the neighborhood. So they all seem to be, but there's a lot of mamas and a lot of babies running around down there. So. Okay, what else is on the agenda? It's just our next meeting,
May 6th.
basics. All right, and it's time to adjourn.
Thanks, everybody.